Good morning and welcome to Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Facts are always dry as dust, uninteresting, have no romance in them. But many times, some facts come to our knowledge that are stranger than fiction. And these facts, not usually known, are the real knowledge. Now imagine you are living on this planet Earth and we call it terra firma, the firm earth. It's revolving, it's rotating, revolving around the sun, rotating in its own axis. But then, do you think that the earth's axis is the same as it was millions of years back? No. As a matter of fact, even in the last 30 years, earth axis has changed. Don't be shocked. Earth is still moving, but the axis has slanted. What it was in 50s is no longer there. What it was in 90s is no longer there. And that's because of the climate change. As the glaciers melt, water mass is redistributed. And this redistribution of water mass causes shifts in the planet's axis. And no scientist talks about it. This change of the axis is responsible for the earthquakes, for the hurricanes, for the typhoons. And since 90s, when they started taking note of it, this axis has been changing. The planet's spin on its axis is determined in part by the distribution of weight around the globe. In the same way, say the children have a top, they spin it. But the spin of the top is determined by shape, same is true of Earth. So satellite data, which is now available from 2002 and 2002 onwards, it has shown that the climate change is altering this weight distribution largely because of melting glaciers, ice sheets that have caused the north and the south pole to drift. They are not on the same axis. And this was first seen in 90s, but uncovering the cause of the drift was very tricky. They were not aware of that. There was no satellite observation at that time. The water distribution level could not be seen. And now researchers have compared possible scenarios of total water distribution of the world and found that it's a human caused, nature caused, both combined climate change. So melting ice sheets combined with shortage of the groundwater, which is pumped for agriculture, has altered the water distribution on the surface. And the planet axis has shifted, resulting, as I said, in tornadoes, in typhoons, in cyclones, and of course, in earthquakes. So, aren't you amazed? And we talk of the pandemic, which causes, say, in India, for example, is causing 4,000 deaths a day. And we forget that flu causes more deaths. Everyday accidents cause more deaths. But this reality, which can, as a matter of fact, destroy the whole earth, shifting of the axis, if it shifts more or shifts suddenly, that can be an end of the world. Then another very amusing but amazing fact, which was not known, and thanks to pandemic COVID, it has come to our knowledge. You know, mice, rats, and pigs have a secret superpower. You don't have that. They can all use their intestines to breathe. And the scientists discovered this by pumping oxygen up their butts. Now, what was the need of running such an experiment that you pump oxygen in the animal's butt? The research team wanted to find a potential alternative to mechanical ventilators. There is a shortage of ventilators nowadays in most of the places of the world. So, medical treatment where a machine pushes air into patient's lung through the windpipe. That's what the ventilator does. It puts your air through your windpipe into the lungs. And these ventilators deliver oxygen to the lungs, remove carbon dioxide from the blood, but they are not available. So the it was then decided at Mayo Clinic, why not find some different technique? So they developed a technique called ECMO, extracorporeal membrane oxygenation. Here, what they do is the blood is pumped out of the body, mixed with the oxygen, and then carried back. But then there are a lot of side effects. It can cause blood clots and it's not available. So then what they did was they studied aquatic animals like sea cucumbers and freshwater fish, which uses their intestines for respiration. So they could not find it. So Tokyo Medical and Dental University under Dr. Takebe started this research, and they found that the way mice, rats, and pigs breathe through their anus, human beings don't. But they can be given oxygen through that. Now, that is the further development. What takes place, we'll see. But the fact that these animals breathe through their anus, that's a fact which really, really captured my, I would say, how nature has created human beings and animals, but given each species a particularity, a speciality, which can be possibly be altered, adapted for the human use. And coming back to the Earth, there's a rare plutonium which is in space, plutonium 2448, and that hints at how heavy metals form in the stars, in the space where till now it was thought there's no life. So a rare version of the radioactive element, plutonium, is not only in the stars but it's also embedded in the deep sea crust. The news finds that the isotope called plutonium 244 arrived in tandem with iron 60, a very light metal which is responsible for the formation of supernovas. And these supernovas, the explosions that occur during the death of many times of the stars, when the stars are shattered, they are broken, fragmentized, then supernova takes place. So these findings suggest that the supernovas may create both heavy metals, iron and plutonium. Now, the same metal, plutonium, has been found in the crust of the Earth at the seabed. The Australian National University and Helmholtz Center Dresden, they combined to conduct this research. And half of the elements heavier than iron are built in the heart of stars. That will see whether it is Venus, whether it's Mars, whether it's Moon. And Mars is called the red planet because of that only. Half of the Earth, the surface is iron. And the same thing is available here. And that causes fusion. The other half, which requires high density, is free neutrons to form. So they must form in a more explosive environment than a typical star level. Now the scientists are amazed that the stars produce these two when they are fragmented, but Earth already has. Is it because of that Big Bang which caused these elements to be created and then buried deep down the sea? Whatever. They are very expensive items, especially the plutonium. And the discovery of that plutonium now may change forever the shape of things to come. And then, a dream of the scientists for centuries is coming out to be true. It's a dream to have build a elevator that goes into space. People think of the elevators in high-rise buildings, and they have plenty in time they shoot up. When I first traveled in the high-speed elevator in Chicago, Sears, yeah, I was amazed. Within a couple of seconds, I was on the 31st floor. But plenty more is there. Condensed city living makes environmental sense, as do the proverbial forms in the cities, towns. They have to be multi-story, 50-story, 100-story. So you need elevators which are fast. But no, I'm not talking of those. I'm talking of the ones that deserve to be in capitals. Space elevators, super tall, super thin, that will deliver people, that will deliver goods, that will deliver satellites to the high Earth orbit in elevator cars, the size of the train. So huge trains, vertical, and they had been theorizing about the elevators basically since 1960s. And it's as simple as closing the door, push the button, say 0G, and all your superstructure is delivered on the cheap without spending a dime on the fuel. These elevators, which are being designed, run on solar energy available, especially at the top of the ride to power the whole system. So, what they are talking about the new frontiers of knowledge, and I'm going to talk about them. First is the asteroid mining, lunar settlement, cloud cities above Venus, even the colonies on the Mars. So, if these things happen, then the travel by the space elevators would be easy. Now, it might be in a couple of years that they'll come up. And this journey from the Earth by the space elevators, as per the design, will take a couple of days. And some scientists say it might take a few hours. There's plenty of entertainment and intoxication available about that. But then the Chinese rocket core, if we have seen, that tumbled to the Earth recently, as a matter of fact, there's a precursor of that. And most important is economics. The, econo- the, the, the economic argument is very compelling to use these elevators. SpaceX is proud, this is of Musk, of reducing the cost of getting stuff to the orbit at 6,000 pounds dollars per pound in its rockets. Space shuttle when it was sent cost was $120,000 per pound. So Musk has reduced it by 50%, comes to 6,000. And these elevators would cost $100 per pound. So Musk says that a Starship will end up costing $8 billion and 2 million per ride just for the fuel. So these elevators will cost 6 billion instead of 8 billion and zero cost to operate. Isn't it exciting that you wake up, you'd say, okay, to your wife, to your husband, let's go for a space ride. Let's go, let's have dinner on Mars and come back. So, couple of hours, or maybe a couple of days, whatever. You just shoot up, see the beauty of the space, and then come back. And before we close down, a very interesting new word which has come is Gigi. Pronounced Gigi is spelled as Cheugy. This word was recently coined by the new generation, Generation Z, and it is used to troll millennials again. Just a few months ago, Generation Z decided that the skinny jeans, parted hair, laughing face emotions were clear signs of an aging millennial generation coming after me. So, according to them, these jeans and side parted hair and smiling faces are signs of an old generation that millennials had decided. Now, millennials are actually revenge trolling Generation Z by calling them outdaters. So, the Generation Z has fought back, calling them cheesy, which basically means something opposite of trendy, out of date, old fashioned. Is it somewhere between basic, uncool, outdated, and modern? And most of the Generation Z, this practically means millennials. So if you're a millennial, you are choosy. And keep on ruminating, think about choosy, but think of the Earth's axis being changed. Think of the beautiful way of traveling to the space in the space elevators. Think of the elements in the deep crust and how you breathe different than the pigs and the mice and the rats do. Exciting. If not exciting, at least quite interesting. What do you think? See you next week. Thank you.